Today, Lindsey Graham pretty much gave us the blueprint of exactly how the United States is going to declare war on Iran.
Oh yeah, and this is this lady right here. She's an Edomite, by the way. Her dad's an Edomite, Edomite dog, and her mother's an Asian. And she claims the Asian side, but you are who your father is, You are who your father is, So if your father's an Edomite, then you're gonna be Edomite. It doesn't matter what your mother is. So just further show us how the house of Edom is divided, you know what I'm saying? Because she calling out the BS on America, on the lies that Edom has said, So yeah.
What he said was that Israel is going to basically go to war over the uranium enrichment that Iran is going to pursue. And after Israel goes to war, we're going to go and back up Israel. So this is some of what he has to say. It's a fairly long interview that he gave, and we're going to break this up into little pieces because he actually said quite a lot. So let's go ahead and get started.
Trump's not the problem, the Ayatollah is. This drone was in international waters.
International waters. So the drone was shot down in the Strait of Hormuz, which is, by the way, nowhere near the United States. So they're kind of making it sound like, if you watch the news and if you're reading the news, they make it sound like, Iran has acted very hostile towards the United States. They shot down one of our drones, acting like this drone was off the coast of California or off the coast of Florida. The United States has admitted to using this drone to spy on Iran. And Iran knows this, and so they shoot it down, knowing that it has nobody on board. And they said, we're sending you a message, don't spy on us, we're shooting down your spy drone. And now we're apparently this is justifying us.
Oh yeah, and by the way, this war is being escalated by Edom, okay? It's being escalated by the U.S., alright? Because the Iranians, they're just being neutral, What the U.S. is tripping about is them taking down. Well, they're tripping about two things. One, the Iranians shot down a spy drone by the U.S. But what was that drone doing over there in the first place? You know what I'm saying? It's all prophecy. You know what I'm saying? It's all prophecy. It's all leading up to the war. But Edom is the one who's escalating the tensions. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, forgive me if I'm not making any sense, but I'm gonna start the video, please.
Potentially going to war with Iran because we shot down a drone in the Strait of Hormuz, which is right next to Iran. I also want you to take a look at this map here, which shows all of the American bases that are surrounding Iran. Now, Iran has no bases surrounding the United States. We have been surrounding Iran. They have not been surrounding us. So I don't know who's more hostile in this situation, but we were there sending a drone spying. We've now surrounded them in bases, and yet they're the hostile actor. So he goes on to say this.
The president does not want a war with Iran or anybody else, but he is the commander-in-chief. And so when Abe was asked by the president, the prime minister of Japan, to deliver a message to the Iranians, let's talk, not only was he rebuffed, they attacked a Japanese ship while the Japanese prime minister is delivering a message from the American president. Let's see if we can negotiate.
Okay, highly contested. We don't know if Iran actually attacked the Japanese nor the Norwegian ship. That is not something that we actually have proof of. That very well could have been the CIA, or it could have been Israel, for all we know, since we do know that Israel is the one that's going to end up marching us into war, as Lindsey Graham's about to tell us. So let's continue on here.
Here's the way this is headed. If they start enrichment at the levels they're talking about in a few days, Israel over time will have to respond. There's one nation on the planet that's not going to give the Iranians a pass on their nuclear program. That's Israel. Israel will, as a last resort, attack to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran. We will come to their aid.
As a last resort, he says. So he admits that, for one, Iran can, because we have no nuclear deal with them, remember? So the deal that we had with them was going to prevent them from enriching their uranium. Well, we tossed that deal out of the window a year ago, so they're free to do whatever they want. They still have a deal with Europe, but they announced to Europe on Monday that they were going to start their nuclear program again, that they were going to start amping up their uranium enrichment in 10 days from Monday. So now we don't really have a reason to turn on them and say, you can't do this. And what's interesting about this is Israel was actually one of the main nations telling us, Israel and Saudi Arabia were the two nations that absolutely did not want a nuclear deal with Iran. They didn't want this deal. So now we don't have the deal. They got what they wanted, and now Iran is saying, okay, well, we have no deal, so I guess we can go ahead and up our enrichment of uranium. And now that is going to be cause somehow for Israel to go to war with Iran. And after Israel goes to war with Iran, we're going to be there to back them up. So you see, we don't have to be the bad guys in this. We don't actually have to be the ones to declare war. Israel will do it, and they're our allies, and we have to back them up. So that is how we're going to end up going to war with Iran. But he's not done. I want you to see more of these clips that he has, because it's shocking and angering.
Here's what they're trying to do. They're trying to break our will, intimidate us to come to the negotiating table. The president made an offer to negotiate. The response was to attack a Japanese tanker, the emissary of the person chosen to deliver the offer. And last night they shot down a drone. So here's what Iran needs to get ready for. Severe pain inside their country. That their capabilities pale in comparison to ours. We're not going to let them disrupt navigation of the seas, attack our allies and U.S. interests without paying a price. So if they're itching for a fight, they're going to get one.
I don't know if they're the ones itching for the fight. I mean, we were, after all, using that drone to spy on them, and we have no evidence that they actually attacked those ships. In fact, it's way more likely, knowing the U.S.'s history, that we're the ones who did something to those ships. That it was either the CIA or it was Israel.
The U.S. is known for causing false flags to get what they want. You know what I mean? And that's what happened when those Japanese tankers were attacked. In a few minutes after it was attacked, the U.S. pointed the finger and said it was Iran. You know, and how the U.S. is escalating the tensions with this war with Iran, you know, is due to, you know, lies, slander, you know, false flags, you know. What the U.S. and Edom is known for doing, you know, all throughout history, you know what I mean? They get what they want.
It was some operative of ours that went and attacked those ships. It's way more likely, given the United States history. Now, that would be unfair to say if we didn't have the history we have of documents now that have been declassified proving that we have engaged in sabotage in order to go to war. But we have all of this information, decades worth of it. So we know that it's possible the United States is actually trying to provoke this war, trying to get enough so that the American people will be behind this war. That is what it's looking like, because obviously Israel wants to do it. And as soon as Israel goes, we're going to go. And we need to have a reason so that the American people aren't sitting there saying, but why? But why? Well, now they can say, well, but they've been attacking us and our allies. See? Look what they did to this Japanese tanker. Look what they did to the Norwegian tanker. And look what they did to our drone. See? So he's not done.
If next week they go back into enrichment, putting them back on a path to a bomb, which they were on anyway, then that escalates the tension between Israel and Iran. If they do anything else against an American asset, and this president doesn't respond like Ronald Reagan, then that's a signal to North Korea and the entire world we're all talk.
So see what he's doing there. So he's trying.
Yeah, so that was pretty much it on the video, alright? The end is close. You know, the prophecies coming to pass. You know, World War III is at hand. Yeah, all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahawah, hasham, Yahawashi, Shalom.